So before we talk about area and circumference and do some problems using those formulas, let's just go ahead and fill out these examples of parts of circles and naming each of the parts. So in the homework, on the review, it's important to notice that on some of these, there's multiple answers that you could write. So just because I wrote what I wrote on the review and the answer keys, you may have something different, and that's fine. If you want me to check it, you can come ask me. But just remember, on some of these, there's multiple answers. For number one, the center, though, there's only one center. And so that center we would call P. So if we were to pick out a chord, I'm going to go with, we have multiple chords here, right? We could do J-O. For my notes, I did J-K. If we're just talking about this line segment, and we would make sure that we talk about that by putting a line over it, and that lets us know it's a line segment, which makes it a chord. All right, so the diameter, we're looking for a line segment that runs through the center, and so we're looking at that point P and looking for this chord that runs through, and so you can see that's K-O. My pen is not working. There, K-O. So K-O, and we put that line over the top to designate that it's a line segment. All right, a radius. So we have a lot of radius here. So we have LP, we have PM, we have PO, we have KP. So we just pick one of those. I picked PL. And it is a line segment, so we're going to put a line over the top of it. All right, then number 5, we want to find a central angle. So remember, a central angle goes from the center to endpoints on the circle. So we could do MPO, we could do LPK. I decided to do angle LPM. So this angle right here. All right, then we're looking at inscribed angles. So remember, an inscribed angle has endpoints on the circle, and its vertex is on the circle as well. So I am seeing an inscribed angle right here. That's a very good one, and that's angle JOK. You could also name it KOJ. That would be exactly the same. Okay. Then we're looking for a major arc. Remember, a major arc is greater than 180 degrees. And so and we just need 3 letters. So I'm going to do this major arc right here. That is greater than 180 degrees. And I'm going to name it JMK. Okay. So then we have a minor arc. Remember, a minor arc is less than 180 degrees. And so I'm just going to do this little minor arc right here, which is JO. All right, then we want to do a semicircle. So if we wanted to do a semicircle, remember that is exactly 180 degrees. That means that we're using that diameter. So I'm going to go right here because I know that my diameter is KO. And so this is called KJO with our little arc symbol. All right, I want to find a tangent line. So remember, a tangent line just runs through one point. So that would be this line right here. We'll go ahead and write our point of tangency. You can see that point of tangency is point M. And our tangent line then is NM. And we're going to write a line so it has arrows on both sides because it's a tangent line. And then we're going to look for our secant line. So a secant line, again, is not a line segment. It runs. So you can see that a secant goes through 2 points on the circle. So that is K, J. And again, symbols are important. We have the line with 2 arrows above it. Okay, now let's talk about area and circumference. So again, our area formula for a circle is pi r squared. And our circumference is C equals 2 pi times the radius, or C equals pi times the diameter. So let's look at our first example. We want to find the area and the circumference for this circle with a radius of 12 meters. So our area, we just put into our formula, is pi. Our radius is 12 squared. That means we can write it as 144 pi. And if we put it into our calculator, we're going to get 452.39 meters squared. That area, your unit of measurement, will always be squared. All right, if we want to find the circumference, that's just going to be 2 times pi times our radius of 12. And that gives us 24 pi. We put that in our calculator, and we're going to get 75.4 meters. All right, let's look at the next one. We're given a diameter. So the first thing we need to do is find our radius. So our radius is going to be 17.5. We just divide 35 by 2. And now we can find the area. So that's pi. I'm trying to write 35 again. 17.5 squared. So that's going to be 306.25 pi. We put that in our calculator, and we're going to get 962.11 kilometers squared. To find our circumference, we don't have to use the radius. You can, but you don't have to, because really what we have here is the diameter. So we know that this is going to be 35 pi, and we put that in our calculator, and we get 109.9 kilometers. Okay. So what if we have to find a radius or a diameter? So it's just important to remember that your diameter is 2 times the radius. And I'm trying to write the diameter again. 2 times the radius. So we're really just we're trying to find the radius or the diameter using our formulas. Let me write them over here. Okay. All right, so here's all the formulas we can use. So the first example says, find the diameter of a circle with a circumference of 65.97 meters. So we're going to use this formula right here. So our circumference is equal to 2. Not going to use that one. Sorry, we're going to use this one. Pi times the diameter. All right, so let's put in the information we know. We have 65.97 equals pi times the diameter. So we divide both sides by pi. Put that in our calculator, and we're going to get the diameter equals 21 meters. Your units of measurement are very important here, so please do not forget them. If you have to write them in when you're doing the work, write them in. I just don't like to deal with all those letters. All right, the next one says, find the radius of a circle with a circumference of 35 pi yards. So we want to find the radius. So now we're going to use this formula. And so that's going to be circumference equals 2 pi times the radius. And now let's put in our information. So 35 pi equals 2 pi times r. To solve for r, we're going to divide by 2 pi on both sides. That's going to cancel out these pi symbols. And we're really just left with 35 divided by 2. And so our radius equals 17.5 yards. All right, the next one says, find the diameter of a circle with an area of 90.25 pi meters squared. So we're going to use our area formula. So we know we're going to use pi r squared. And then once we find the radius, we can find the diameter just by multiplying by 2. So let's put in our information. We have 90.25 pi, and that equals pi times the radius squared. First thing we're going to do is divide both sides by pi. We want to isolate r. And we get 90.25 equals r squared, because those pi's cancel out. Okay, so to just get r, we take the square root of both sides, And in our calculator, we find that r equals 9.5. So that means the diameter is equal to 2 times the radius. So we do 2 times 9.5, and that gives us 19, and our unit of measurement is meters. So we get 19 meters. All right, let's say we have to use multiple formulas. So we want to work between all the formulas. So our first example is find the area of a circle with a circumference of 26 pi feet. So circumference is going to allow us to find the radius, and then we can use that radius to find the area. So we're going to use circumference equals 2 pi r, and we're also going to use area equals pi r squared. So the first thing we're going to do is 26 pi equals 2 pi r. We want to solve for r, so we're going to divide both sides by 2 pi. So we get r, our pi's cancel out, 26 divided by 2 is 13, so r equals 13, and now we can find the area. So our area equals pi times 13 squared. So area equals 169 pi. Into our calculator, we put that in, and we get 530.93. It's feet. And we remember that area will always be squared. All right, this next one says find the circumference of a circle with an area of 113.1 inches squared. So we're kind of going backwards. We're going to use the same formulas, except now we're going to start with area. Then once we get the radius, we can put that in for circumference. All right, so let's put in our information. We have 113.1 inches squared. That equals pi r squared. We're going to divide both sides by pi. So in our calculator, we're going to do 113.1 divided by pi. That is going to give us 36. That equals r squared. To just get r, we take the square root of both sides, and we get r equals 6. Normally, I would say plus or minus when you take the square root of both sides, but since we're talking about an actual distance, it has to be positive. So our radius equals 6, and now we can find our circumference. So our circumference is just 2 times pi times our radius, which means that our circumference is 12 pi. Into our calculator, we get 37.7, and our unit of measurement is inches. And there's our answer.